How you doing, everybody? I'm Pete Rivera, also known AKA Pete the Peptide Guy. I'm here with a very special guest at a very special place, Dr. Neely at her Power facility in Phoenix. So, Doc, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good, good. So, the reason why we're here and want to talk to you is to find out exactly what you do here, why you're doing it, and why power.
That's a big question, Pete. So I'm a very passionate person, and since I was young, I had this dream of helping people, and that's changed as any young person does day to day. But I always knew medicine was my calling. I've taken a very roundabout way for that. When I was in high school, I was a nurse's aide and worked in some nursing homes. In college, I worked at an ER and absolutely fell in love with emergency medicine. I'll never forget the doc I worked for, who was this big guy. He'd go out and smoke between every patient. And I thought, something's wrong here. um, but I actually ended up doing exercise health science pre-professional. Thought I wanted to do maybe sports medicine and ended up in Australia. So, long story short,
Halfway around the world?
yes, and spent a year there and came back and did a master's degree in medicine and did a lot of work here in Phoenix and then went back and got my MD. So, a lot of jumping around, a lot of seeing the world, meeting other cultures and people, and just more and more my passion for helping them grew. But I wasn't really sure where or what that looked like. Um, but I loved the ER. So I did emergency medicine for 15 years. And again, there's lots more to that. So many things that I saw, people that I was able to help, and how I personally grew through those 15 years. But I knew that I was getting done with the ER. It's an intense life, and you see a lot that takes a lot from your heart. And I'm the type of person that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to give my everything. So I was starting to come home from the ER just wiped out, cup empty, nothing more to give. And I had a little boy when I was almost 40. So single mom, and he became my world. So about the time I was trying to figure out what to do, I started looking at, well, maybe I'll go back and do dermatology or aesthetics. COVID hit, and I had the opportunity to work in California. So I worked in this field hospital in Costa Mesa. It was this little facility that they were supposed to tear down that summer. And instead, they gave it to California's Emergency Medical Services. And I had the opportunity to kind of oversee that. And they took all the overflow from the hospitals, and we were just do whatever to keep them going. So we started doing some IV therapy, high dose vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. And then we set up the monoclonal antibody infusions in Southern California. And it was an incredible experience, one that I'll never forget. One, I learned how much I loved overseeing things and my passion for bringing a team together, and actually started getting my MBA at Grand Canyon while I was doing all this because I loved it so much. And met nurses, doctors, EMTs from all over the world. One of them was Kim, who's here in our wellness clinic. And we just really bonded. And I said, Kim, when I'm done with this, I've found my calling. I want to open a wellness center that looks more at preventative health. I want to use IVs and vitamins and help people to prevent disease. Because a lot of these people shouldn't have ever been here in this situation if someone had just told them how to be healthy. And she goes, okay. She goes, Doc, tell me when, and I'll be there. And so we went our separate ways. About a year and a half, almost 2 years later, I signed the lease on this place. A week later, my phone rings. I'm like, Kim. And she goes, hey, were you serious about me working for you? I said, you'll never believe this. I just signed the lease. You're hired. So Kim and I started this. We've been 2.5 years open now, and it has grown. My passion's grown. To see people and get to really meet them where they're at has been incredible. Um, and some of those skills I learned in the ER come into play here. When you see people headed the wrong direction, I can tell them, hey, wait, stop. Like, this is where you're going. And you might not feel the effects of your lifestyle right now, but if you don't do something now, you're going to be in the ER. And it hits people, when they're like, oh, I know I don't feel well, but I didn't know that there was anything I could do about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, wow, I thought my resume was long. I feel really overwhelmed. So you were going to school, you were doing your doctor thing, you had a baby, and you decided to I'm just going to open up a med spa and make people feel better. That's pretty awesome. So again, my whirlwind of information that you just gave us is phenomenal, because I think when people come to a facility that, can be on every street corner for, all intents and purposes, that they really want to know who they're working with, and your caring aspect of who you are is the most important thing. It's kind of why I love working with you as well, is because we kind of kicked off on that, and like knows like. So we really care about helping the people out there, and you being able to give the information out to them is so, so important. So another question though is, let's go to the acronym. What does it mean?
So POWER is Phoenix Wellness and Rejuvenation.
Okay.
So I was trying to come up with a name. When we were coming, this was going to be transferring all to mine. We started a little bit different with some protocols, a little bit of a franchise involvement, and, some of those decisions you make when you're learning business. And I've probably made about every business mistake you could, but I've learned from them. And so I was all excited. I'm like, okay, this is going to be mine. I get to name it my thing. What do I really want to relay to people? And I love the symbol of the Phoenix bird. Probably half the reason I live in Phoenix, if you want to know the truth. I love that symbol of rising out of the ashes. And then I was like, well, also, I love being fit and strong and healthy. And I want people to know that they can live their life with energy. It's probably the biggest complaint that I get is I just don't feel like myself, or I have no energy anymore, or I thought I would get close to retirement and have all these things I want to do, and now I just don't even have the passion for it anymore or the energy to do it.
So going off that energy, what modalities do you use in order for people to facilitate increasing that energy?
So we use a lot, and let me tell you the ones that I like the most, because again, I'll get you overwhelmed if I tell you everything we have here.
I already lost my hair.
We can talk about that later.
Okay.
So I love our IVs. IV therapy, we can really customize to each person based on what they need. So many people here in Phoenix are dehydrated, especially if you're exercising and like you should be. You're getting wiped out, and I'm guilty. I don't drink all the water I should during the day.
It's hard to.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up. Your life gets busy, and you grab that coffee instead of the water, and you know better, but you still do it.
Yeah.
So the hydration is really amazing, and we can add in there B vitamins for energy. We can add in magnesium. We do a lot with glutathione. Glutathione is one of my favorite supplements. It's the body's major antioxidant.
Yeah, that's the big buzzword. Recently, more and more you're hearing about it. But I want to go back to the vitamin D thing and being in Phoenix, because that's very interesting. And some of the studies have shown that like 50% of the people in the state are actually vitamin D deficient. Yeah. But we have sun like 90% of the year. Like, how's that possible, right? So that being said, vitamin D and potassium, I heard, are a great pairing. Is that right?
Well, so vitamin D can't go in an IV. Okay. We give that as a shot because it's not water soluble. But I highly recommend it. I personally even do it once a month. And my vitamin D levels are great, but I keep them optimized. And when people are like, well, I'm in normal range, yeah, we can talk about what normal is.
Yeah, I hear you.
There's normal and then there's optimal.
Right.
So we do a lot of the vitamin D shots, but they go really well with vitamin C. So vitamin C helps your body absorb that vitamin D and use it where you need it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, okay, other modalities. So now we've got our IVs. What about peptides?
I love peptides.
Okay.
As you and I know. So
Yeah.
we met at the Peptide Conference.
Yep, we did.
And that's something I'm always trying to do is learn more, grow more. And so especially this year, I've just been committed to expanding and learning. And peptides were really top of the list for me. We started with NAD when we first opened. I'm a huge fan of NAD. And I wanted to bring more on. So I learned a lot online by becoming a member with Dr. Seeds.
Okay.
And then going to the conference. And I have loved peptides. There's so many. As you know, a lot of people don't really know what peptides are. They're small proteins. Think little chain of amino acids. So a baby protein, your body already makes it naturally. So instead of throwing in some chemical substance that has all these side effects and just like a Band-Aid or mask symptoms, we're going to give your body what it already has and is making to optimize your health.
Right.
So
no, that's fantastic. And I know working with a medical professional like yourself, the advantageous aspect of it is that you can monitor how those peptides are doing into my system. Otherwise, I'm just kind of saying, well, I felt better now than I did 4 weeks ago, but am I really optimizing myself?
yeah.
So talk about how you structure that with your patients.
So we bring all of our patients in on a program and we look really thorough at some labs. We can do cortisol testing, gut testing. And so what we're going to do when we start peptides is here's our baseline. And then we will create what peptides we need to use in a cycle and a stack that's right for your body. And then we can do follow up with blood work or cortisol testing or gut testing, depending on what I'm trying to show. For instance, the growth hormone secretagogues are really help with circadian rhythm, building lean muscle. And so we're always monitoring labs with that and saying, are we getting the effect that we want? And we use in-body testing. So I can look at body fat decreasing and lean muscle mass increasing.
Yeah, that's a game changer in itself, other than doing it by yourself. And I think that's what you bring to the table is your expertise of all the things you've done into this great little facility that you have here, and you're helping so many people. Describe how you feel where you're at right now in the longevity space.
So longevity, another buzzword.
Yeah.
Very popular right now. And a lot of people are coming and asking about it. I love people like Peter Attia and Outlived, and really do believe that we're in a new era of medicine where it's not reactionary. We should be more preventative and looking at optimizing health. Maybe I'm not going to make you live to 120, but I'm going to give you what time you have on earth to live with better health. So it's about living well. So I am a high energy person. I think we can tell that.
Yeah, you just ran a 100-mile race, so you got to have some energy to do that. So I have no idea how that happened.
I started to putter at the end, let me tell you. But yeah, so I don't want to live and be bedridden and sick and taking a million medications for the last 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
I want to live with passion, like hiking. I want to still run my ultra marathons right up to the end. Right. Like, let me cross the line and just be gone.
That's great. So you brought up another word that we hear a lot in this world, and I have my struggles with it explaining to people. As a professional, because I'm not a doctor or a medical professional whatsoever, what's the difference between a medication and a peptide?
So medication, we're going to take something that's a chemical and use it to stop symptoms or change chemistry in your body. For instance, you might have high blood pressure. I'm going to take this chemical compound and use it to make you pee more and bring down your blood pressure. But it's not natural. It's not what your body already has in it. Whereas a peptide, your body already has that protein or partial protein in it. So we're going to say, here, let's optimize how your cells are working and how your body already works to fix this problem. So instead of just masking the problem, we're going to get to its root cause and help you be healthier from the very core of the cell.
Right. Yeah. And that's super important to know the differences, because I know a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, well, I'm on this medication, and me explaining it to them, and they're like, you're just Pete the Peptide Guy. You don't know what to talk about. So it's nice to actually get a doctor to say it. Where do you see traditional medicine and IV therapies and vitamin therapies and peptide therapies? Where do you see them working, or do you see them just staying separate?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll learn to all get along.
Yeah.
And that's really what I try and do in our wellness center. There is a time and place for medication. Thank God we live in a time where we have healthcare and we have science that's figured out how to help with a lot of different diseases. But what if we didn't even have those diseases in the first place?
Right.
So I see things like optimizing your vitamins, getting IVs, using peptides to get you healthier from the beginning to prevent that disease. And then some people may still end up with some diseases or have issues that need traditional medication, or what we call allopathic, but it goes hand in hand. For instance, we have several women with breast cancer, and they need their oncologist. I'm not an oncologist.
Right.
I'm not a surgeon. But after they've gotten their treatment or collaborating with their oncologist, we're often giving them IVs, and we're doing ozone therapy, UV blood irradiation, and high dose vitamin C. And the results have been phenomenal.
That's great. So we're kind of coming to the end. We're wrapping up here, but I want you to kind of give the audience what makes you different, kind of in a nutshell, than everybody else.
Well, little crazy. Probably my passion.
Okay.
I really genuinely want my patients to know that they can live healthy. And I'm going to be there every step of the way to bring them the right resources, bring them the best that I can that's preventative. For instance, like bringing in the peptides, bringing in the right vitamins, bringing in ozone. And we're going to combine that in the way that works best for each individual patient. It's not a one size fits all. You're going to get a one-on-one. You're going to get amazing staff that really genuinely cares. And I think you feel that when you walk into our facility, that there's a peace and an energy of care and passion that everyone who leaves there, it should feel that energy.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, if you want to sit in your power, you definitely have to come and meet Dr. Neely, because she's amazing. And as her resume said, you will be cared for like nobody else can care for you. So this is Pete, the Peptide Guy, saying thank you so much. It was a pleasure being able to sit with you and listening and all this wealth of information.
Thank you, Pete.